Concern for you is that for whatever reason, you become very curious of the wire that's down over there. And although Johnson told you to stay away from it, you go walking over there and you get close and it feels like somebody kicked you in the rear. And you're all by yourself. Okay? Now because of the earth, again like the body, the earth may be sandy, gravelly, clay, loam, whatever it may be, it reacts different. It may not go out in a round circle, it may go out in funny shapes. But as you take that step closer to the wire, there can be difference in voltage between your feet, step potential, that's what we call it. Okay? It could be 5 volts, 100 volts, we don't know. So when you feel that sensation, and you guys thought that Jackson brought this in, but the moonwalk, you know, where you slide back, that's what you do. You moonwalk out of that area, keeping both feet on the ground so there's not a difference in potential between your feet. Okay? It's called ground gradient.
What would happen if you lifted one foot?
I'm sorry?
What would happen if you lifted one foot?
Well, you would probably go into a neutral state, as you would, until you touch the ground again. Okay?
So the muscles contraction, that wouldn't happen.
You could hop out of the area on one foot if you wanted to. Okay? It would be the Easter Bunny. What we're telling you here, I think, tonight, at least I hope, is that when you go out to do whatever you do for the American Red Cross in a disaster situation, it's important that you pay attention to where you are. You certainly are out there to do a job for your fellow human beings. You want to save their lives, you want to save them from injury or whatever. But put this thing in gear before you go ramrodding out there. Look up. There may be wires across the street that you're going to drive across. Can you drive across wires? Maybe. Maybe. Okay. It may catch under your car. Maybe. There's so many maybes out there with this stuff. We're trained to do it, and we're afraid of it. We respect this stuff, believe me. Okay? Don't go out there ramrodding around. If you see the yellow tape, kids, what does that mean to you?
Stay away.
Stay away. Okay? Make sure that you don't go in the area that the yellow tape is around, because there's danger there. Okay. We've been doing a lot of stupid things up here tonight. Mr. Electrician, what have I been doing that's wrong here?
Wearing a glove.
Yeah. Oh, that was cold. That was cold.
Demonstration been over a long time ago.
Well, you've purposely been doing everything wrong, I suppose.
Right, I have been. I put myself in something we talked about earlier, putting myself in series with the probes. We talked about the electricity going across the heart. Okay? So I put a lot of faith in these things I'm wearing here. Okay? And it's the last thing I'd like to show you. I have a couple of things. Something that probably would interest you, I guess. Young man on a forklift, raising a load up to a rooftop, got into 13,200 volts. He says, jump off of the machine. He jumped off the machine and it was safe. He forgot to turn it off. Okay. He went back. The crew sees the woman in the car down in front of them about a mile away, and they're driving there to help her get out of the car. The wire's over her car. The fire department had beat us there, had her out of the car. They know how to get you out. She was out, but she forgot her purse. The crew is right there. She forgot her purse. Put it in gear, people. Now I have a glove here.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
don't mean to interrupt you. 5 years ago, I was working on an ambulance service in Central County, and a gentleman was on top of a farm silo, and they were transporting it across the roadway with a tractor, and he was standing on top of the silo, one hand pushed up. Foot first, second, third index finger.
right on. Low voltage that we were talking about usually contracts your muscles up to about 600 volts. Anything above that blows it away. Now, I've got a glove here I'd like to tell you about, and then we'll be all done. Excuse me. Time for Daryl's bedtime, so I got to get him home.
They gotta be friends, enemies don't talk like that to each other.
Oh, I thought he was talking to Daryl here.
Our gloves are made on a mold, and you can see that. Looks like my hand. It's shaped like my hand. It's a ceramic mold, and our gloves are called Class 2. Class 2 gloves are good for a working voltage of 17,000 volts. So I'm well within the range up here of doing that. And they're tested and checked until they get the right thickness and what have you. At Detroit Edison, we developed something called a BYB, a black, yellow, black glove. And this hole here, I know you can't really see it, but there's 10% of black rubber on the outside, 80% of rubber inside is yellow, and the black inside of the glove is another 10%. The reason for that is if there's the slightest scratch on the glove, we know it. Okay, it shows up right away. Now, our gloves are brought in, and they have to be stamped and all kinds of things by law, and they're sent out to the field. Now, we use these gloves for 6 months, and then they're taken back into the rubber glove lab, where they're washed in a washing machine just like you have at home, and then they are put into a tank of water that's grounded. Now, this tank will hold probably a dozen pair of gloves, and the water level comes 1 inch below this bead, and it's submerged and clipped there, and the inside is then filled with water, and the guy pulls the door down. There's a probe that goes down inside the glove, and 20,000 volts is applied for 3 minutes. Now, the slightest hole or blemish in this glove will make the lights and bells go off. He pulls it out, cuts the fingers off, and throws it away. If this glove passes the test, it goes into a drying room where it's dried for about 3 days. It's brought out and put on a machine that blows it up just about the size of this little transformer. And what he's looking for there is the slightest blemish in this glove anywhere, between the fingers particular and in the palm of the hand. Now, we all know that when we use rubber, we weaken it by flexing it, okay? So we're concerned about those areas in our gloves. Now, this glove that we have here passed the electrical test. The air test showed some kind of an abrasion in the cuff area. And what they do is they punch a hole in it and save it for me to use on the machine here. Okay, so electrically this glove is good, except for a slight blemish. Now, I wet it. In fact, I soaked it. And you may think that Isaiah has told you, I'm sure, that water and electricity doesn't mix. Okay? We know that. But if you were a lineman out there hanging on the pole making $30 an hour like Daryl does, yeah, wish.
No denial.
You would be working during storm time with a glove and doing your chores out there. Remember the little yellow booty that we had tracking? That's what you're going to hear here, okay? That little snapping is tracking. Very uncomfortable. You have to hold the tools and the things that you're using very tight so that there's no vibration in the glove. Okay, that's a good glove. Okay. Now, we at Edison, because we got the big bucks, we have a I left the head. Way cheap help you get nowadays.
That's the way this whole night's been going.
But we've got a special polarized camera, and on the way over here tonight, I stopped and snapped a picture of the pole on the corner where you live. soon as Darrell gets it out. There you are. You know the pole on the corner? You know where you live, right there? Okay? You know the one, okay? You know, we sent the photographer out and said, in your normal travels, don't go out and look for them. Take some pictures of nails and poles and bring them in. He brought us a stack of these pictures, okay? And if you were close enough, you wouldn't believe some of the spikes that people use to put a piece of paper on a pole. Okay?
Isn't that the American way, the bigger the better?
Bigger the better, you got it. Okay, now, we put all kind of signs on here, like what did you put on last time? Huh? Was it for sale or garage sale?
Horses for sale.
Horses for sale. I don't blame you, I'd give them too.
How about your mother's garage sale, getting rid of all the junk?
Okay. Did you know that's against the law? Did you know that that's our pole and you've got no business putting nails in it? Think about it. Did you know that you left us your address or your phone number? Okay.
What's the penalty?
Well, we don't prosecute because we like you guys. Let me tell you,
We just want our money.
just your money.
I think the concern is more about climbing.
Exactly, and that was, you're stealing my thunder. Sorry. But if you were a lineman and we were gonna climb that pole tonight, and it's stormy out there besides the nails, and we go clunking up that pole with our spurs, which are very sharp to hold us on the pole, and only about 1/4 of an inch goes into the pole. Okay, that's all that holds you there. And you were to step on one of those spikes and break the end off, you'd be standing there on one foot for a while until somebody came and helped you, or you could fall, okay? Now, in reality, what we do when we come across a pole like that is we'll lay a ladder up against the pole and climb the ladder to get on the pole, because that's very hazardous. Now, occasionally, we do something called burning the pole. Anybody guess what that is? Okay. There are times when the spurs don't hold you on the pole, and you become very attached to the pole, and you hug it as tight as you can as you slide down slowly. Okay? Think about it for a minute or two. Okay?
The green runs.
Okay? So please don't put anything in our poles. Please don't put any nails in there or anything. Now, the thing that you can't see from back there in the back is, any politicians in here? Politicians have enough money that they buy a staple hammer, okay? And they go out and they put those staples in there, and sure enough, they come back and take them off, okay? But they leave the staple. Now the staples, when you pull one out, you guys that use a staple gun, usually one end comes out and it's very, very sharp, almost like a needle, okay? So tonight, you and I are going to climb that pole, okay? And because I know how, you go first.
Clear the way.
Now, we tested your glove. We did it. We put it on here and tested your glove, okay? Okay, now who are we going to have climb with us here? Well, this guy. That's Michael. Hi, Mike. This is a safety pin, kind of like a staple. Okay, the other ones I lose all the time. I'll take that safety pin, if you will. I can put a hole right through that finger, not mine now. All the way through. Tough, hey. That's pretty good stuff. Okay. Now, Michael, where did you put that hole? Could be anywhere, right? Okay. Now, I can punch a hole in that cup right there, and just stick right through it. Yeah. Fast. Poke it in, take it out. Hard to see, right? And that's good rubber because it's tough to get through there. So that rubber just closes it right back up and it's good, right? That's your glove. Come on up and we'll finish. Now, this always tells me that I didn't get the message up. Right?
It's nice I don't have to wear that glove myself.
Now what I want you to do is wear that, and I'm going to stand back over here, and just hang on to that, and
Let me get my gloves on.
okay. And Daryl's going to throw the switch, okay?
Heck no. You're not paying me enough.
I'm beginning to wonder. Thank you, Mike.
Take the fun out of everything.
I thought we were.
As long as I want to get tonight.
I thought we were going to practice first aid. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Since he's chicken. Michael, I brought along this because I figured you'd chicken all of me. But I've got a bone in my finger here, Michael, and it's a lot like your bone. Mine happens to be a wire, and it just keeps the finger rigid, okay? Now, on my hot dog, I've got a skin, and it kind of holds it all together. That's something like your skin, right? And then, Michael, in your finger, you've got blood vessels and nerves and muscles and tendons and all that stuff. We call that meat. Right? In this hot dog, we've got eyebrows, lips. And we call that meat.
You want to stand there and see the hot dog.
Keep an eye on Daryl for a minute. No, not now.
Yeah, you should have put it out. Just so
That's a good point, you know, that's true. Daryl and I have a lot of fun doing this. Everything that we're using up here is called truck stock, and it's right off the truck the guys use every day. But the safest piece of equipment I've got up here is that man standing right there with the switch.
I wouldn't be too sure about that.
I know better, okay? Michael, how fast is electricity? Pretty fast. Sometimes you can even say pretty damn fast, right? It's the speed of light. Does that help anything? How fast? Electrician. You forgot?
I'm sorry, see, what they used to say in psychology back, I've got a middle block, 8,000 feet per second.
Who knows?
186,000 miles per second.
You remembered, didn't you? Okay, did you hear that? 186,000 miles per second. Okay? Michael, this is your finger. This is the little pinhole you put in here.
Can I have the hot dog?
Well, Daryl's got dinner now.
Let's see a hot dog now. Oh, fried.
Now, with all that
You eat it?
fire, this hot dog is cold. Okay? You want to touch it too? You want to touch it too?
Let's pass it around.
The hot dog is the little pinhole that Michael put in there is now about the size of a pencil. Many times on the back side of our hot dogs, it'll blow it all away. It just blows it up. Okay? I think you saw the glove. Okay? This is why we test our gloves. This is why we rely on our gloves. Our gloves cost about $100 a pair. They're about $70 for the rubber and $20 for the leather. They last about 4 years before they are discarded. But if nothing else, I want you to respect electricity when you're out there. Use it wisely. Remember what you saw here tonight, the different things that electricity affects and how it affects it. If you ever need help and you see a utility crew, they're equipped with first aid kits, fire blankets, a radio, fire extinguishers, and they're well trained in first aid CPR. Okay? So if you ever need help, yell for utility crew. You got a question?
I think I'm missing the point. Why is the hot dog cold? I mean, I would expect it to be hot.
Why it doesn't cook, I'm not really sure. All of the heat is in the arc and it's all out here somewhere, okay? Versus the one where we are putting heat through the hot dog, okay? I can't really explain that to you.
But the whole thing was, you know, electrified. I mean, it had
Yeah.
potential.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it did. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to ask you one question about that fence. You see all these Christmas lights? That's got to be a real big thing, Christmas time with all those lights. Is that a
Well,
problem?
yeah, put them on.
It's
More
got
the
to be a
merrier.
real thing where we've seen the whole complete fence decorated with these little tiny lights, and you get a big shock out of it.
Repeat the question?
They're usually low voltage. The little lights at Christmas around the fence, you know, what's it doing to the fence?
What would they do to a pair of latex gloves?
It-
Courtesy of the firemen.
That's no challenge whatsoever.
I know, I've seen a paramedic a couple of years ago come in contact. He thought blue seal was protection. Started out as first degree burn, wound up being third.
That's something that you have to be aware of. You might see just the hole in the skin like this today. Maybe next week they cut the fingers off, and maybe the next week they take the wrist off or whatever. Electricity travels through your nerves and blood vessels just like they were wires. Okay? They coagulate the blood. They do all kinds of things. Electricity is a bad cat, but it's a good servant. Yes, sir.
If the wire had a hole in it, would you replace it with electrical tape? Right now.
If a wire had a hole in it, would I put electrical tape around it?
See,
What's the
wire?
voltage?
Wire is low.
Wire.
What's the voltage?
I don't know, it's like the drill wire.
Yeah, I could put electrical tape on it. Electrical tape's good for about 600 volts, and then the more layers you put on it, it goes up. Okay? Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
If you're walking along and you feel down wire, stupid people want to go see it, how safe is tennis shoes if you're walking on them?
Forget it. Yeah, they have some value. They have some value. It's not fair to say they don't, but don't test them. Okay, don't test them. Tennis shoes, you gotta remember, are made out of cloth in most cases on the top. You might have a little something other called rubber made out of whatever, and the electricity will travel right over that, so don't trust it. Don't trust standing on a piece of cardboard. Don't trust any of those things that we hear about. People get away with it, but you never know. It's 20,000 volts. I don't know what the amperage is on that. It probably, where's the electrician go? He might know. Do you know what the amperage would be on an electric chair? I know it's about 20,000 volts, but I don't know what the amps are. Yeah,
Never been in one.
me either. Yeah, but they got him on the second shot.
I know.
I don't know. I know I read about it. It's fast. Electrical death is fast.
When I went to his place, I really had his kids there, but he had to take it off. And then I thought, you know, it's getting dark, it was late, we go there, that'd be off. But I thought I had to call somebody, but who would I call? I didn't have to, I couldn't call.
I would call the police, all of our manholes are round, so it wouldn't be ours. It's
The
probably-
911 doesn't like to be bothered with things
No.
like that.
No, it's
It
probably-
was so dangerous, I thought, and now that you mentioned that, I would.
If it was a Sunday, you could call Carl and I would be glad to look for you.
It wasn't Sunday. The funny thing, it wasn't Sunday. It wasn't Sunday where I was walking today. It was
You guys are the eyes out there. If you see things, call the utilities or the fire department, police department, certainly. That's why they're there.
How many amps are coming out of that transformer?
This, we're using something in the neighborhood of about 5 to 6 amps. If you were to go in the backyard, you would multiply that at least 100 times.
You know, okay, it's like the big green ones, that they're always warm and everything. I always sit on those things.
Stay warm, eh?
Eh,
You know that before we can touch them, to open them, we have to put on rubber gloves and stuff.
You mean those green?
Those green boxes sitting out there.
I sit on too. We're
I sit on
not
it's like a cold.
Yes, sir.
When you have like a 40,000 volt thing, if you use it, wouldn't it like raise some volts or no?
You want to say that again?
If you have like a 40,000 volt thing and you use it, well, if you use it, wouldn't it like take some volts away, or will it just stay 45?
If you're using a 40,000 volt thing and if you're using it, does the thing take voltage
No,
away?
like that you're just using, not the transformer.
Does the voltage drop when I do that? A little bit, yes. Very, very little bit. Okay? Anything else?
You know, if you have like a little hut on, you have a bedroom down there, and it floods.
But you won't sit on that box.
Well, a person, well, you have there's a permanent hot, and then, you know, you have your washer, your dryer, all those things. If you get out there, all of a sudden he wakes up and finds his in 2 feet water.
That, you know, it's hard to give answers to all these things because everything is different. There's the possibility that he gets that, there's the possibility he won't. It's not a good idea.
So he should just stay there until, as long as
The
water,
water's
as long as
coming
water
out.
isn't rising.
As long as he gets a care package every once in a while. No, but I would be, I'd be very careful how I did that because you've got cords from lamps laying on the ground or on the floor and all kinds of stuff. You don't know. You don't know. You really don't know. It's sad.
On behalf of the disaster team, I'd like to express my thanks to you gentlemen. I'm sure that as we go out, we have learned a very valuable lesson, one probably that if you hadn't been here, we might not have, or we might have learned the hard way. We do thank you for coming. Really do appreciate it.
You've been great. I love to tease people, and you've been great by responding. Daryl will take up the collection as usual.
For the members of the disaster team that are here, we need to meet briefly in the Valentine room. It'll be just about a 10-minute meeting.